Imagine this. You're sitting alone in one of the old stone rooms of Hogwarts. No cat, no wand, just you and the button on the table. If you press it, you'll get a mild electric shock. Would you wait for 15 minutes or would you press it? Timothy Wilson, a Muggle social psychologist at the University of Virginia, asked people to do exactly that. Sit in silence with their thoughts. And surprisingly, 2/3 of men pressed the button at least once. One man pressed the button 190 times. That's how uncomfortable boredom has become to us. Shocking, right? Welcome, witches and wizards. I'm Professor Sophie and this is Mooney. For those who are new here, I teach practical magic and help with muggle problems. And in today's class, we'll be doing nothing. Really. Lately, I've noticed I can't even wait for the microwave to warm my dinner without feeling restless. 1 minute feels like forever. I can't even stir a potion without watching something on the side, as if my own spells aren't enough. And when I sweep the floor, I almost always have an audiobook in my ears, as if I'm afraid to be left alone with my own thoughts. I check my planner and respond to messages when I brush my teeth. Yeah. I don't scroll endlessly like many muggles do, but honestly, I'm not much better. Even when I'm not scrolling, I'm still filling every single moment with something. Cleaning, creating, podcasts, music. And even though I enjoy all of it, life sometimes feels like watching my favorite movie, but at 10 times the speed. Lately, I just feel overwhelmed. My whole world is about creating magic, videos, stickers, posts, and it's starting to feel like I'm trying to conjure something out of nothing. If I didn't want to burn out halfway, I had to learn one more spell, doing nothing. And there was only one way to learn it. I had to convince myself I needed. Whenever I get curious about something, I turn to science. When we do nothing, our brain doesn't actually switch off, it just changes gears. It's like trading your broomstick for a test-roll, still moving but in a stranger way. When we are working, studying, or scrolling through muggle devices, our task-positive network in our brain is in charge. The part that keeps us focused and able to find quills when they vanish. But when we pause, stare out the window, drift off in history of magic class, that system quiets down and another one wakes up, the default mode network. That's the part that lights up when we daydream, imagine something, or replay memories, like that mistletoe moment. So even when you think you're doing nothing, your mind is secretly sorting through everything you've gathered, doing something pretty magical. It's a bit like coming back to your dorm room after a long day of studying at Hogwarts. You dropped your books, feed your owl, maybe kick off your shoes, and your mind finally starts unpacking the day. You think about what you learned, what you liked, what didn't, what felt good, what you might try differently tomorrow. Your brain does exactly that. All day it collects little Lego pieces. Emotions, ideas, sounds, faces, details, facts. And when you pause, your inner helper finally sits down, spreads all those pieces on the table, and starts building something wonderful from them. A new connection, maybe a new idea, a new potion recipe. But when you never stop, when you feel all those moments with noise like I do, all those pieces just pile up like Dobby heads. No room to breathe, no space to build anything beautiful from them. And science actually agrees with us on this. Muggle research shows that boredom, or just being unstimulated for a while, can help you analyze your life better and make better choices, boosts focus, creativity, problem solving. That's why our best ideas often come in the shower or while looking at the Black Lake. Our minds finally have that space to wander. There even was an experiment. Muggle scientists divided people into two groups. One group had to do something incredibly boring, probably just alphabetizing potion ingredients in Snape's storage cupboard, and the other group got to do something fun and exciting. I'm pretty sure they tried Honeyduke's entire fudge collection. Then, both groups were asked to do a creative task. They had to come up with new and unusual ways to use a mug. And guess what? The bored group, once ready to fall asleep over the parchment, came up with the most original ideas. Cups that whisper encouragement while you drink, invisible butter beer cups to drink during classes, divination cups, cups that change according to the season. Because their brain wasn't overloaded, it was able to connect things in new, unexpected ways. You did nothing? Feel good? Refreshed? How's your default mode network doing? Doing fine? So needy. So I decided to try it. What if I simply stopped staring at the ocean for once? 2 hours every day for a month of doing nothing. Okay, it wasn't that bad. At first, I was totally fine. I thought I'll take a nap. I got comfy, laid down, relaxed, enjoyed, relaxed my muscles. But then my brain betrayed me. I started thinking about that audiobook I'm listening right now, Different Seasons by Stephen King. And I got so hooked by this book that I was just curious about what happens next. I couldn't switch off, my brain couldn't switch off, and I'm so addicted to my phone. I'm holding my phone way too much, way more than I want, and that's not good for us witches. That's not good. Honestly, it's not really our fault. When iPhone came out, boredom basically died. Think about it. Boredom used to be a natural part of life. Waiting for the bus, sitting in a cafe, standing in line, moments where your mind could wander, even for a few seconds or minutes. But this day, every gap is filled because of that thing in our pocket. We scroll, tap, refresh, repeat. Yes, people used to have newspapers, but we even take our phones out when we wait for the traffic lights to change, just to kill 15 seconds. The next day I went for a walk. No headphones, no music. And it felt strange. As Nietzsche said, if you gaze long enough into the abyss gazes back at you. And he wasn't kidding. That's exactly how it felt. Like looking straight into my own thoughts and not liking what I saw. Usually I like walking, but this time I had different expectations. I hoped it will be really peaceful and nice. I tried to do nothing intentionally, but turns out doing nothing forces you to face what's inside you. And I started to think about things I hadn't been facing even when I journaled. And I have to walk another block now to face all the truths and come up with some solutions and calm down my thoughts. There is a kind of escape that's very common. They escape into constant busyness. When someone can't sit with themselves, they fill every moment with noise, distraction, and plans. They call it productivity, but sometimes it's really just avoidance. Because to sit in silence means to face your own thoughts, questions that never got answered, pain that you buried, emotions that never got processed, and make peace with them. It wasn't just uncomfortable facing the truth. I also felt guilty for doing nothing. I was taught that sitting still is laziness, and laziness is a bad thing. Instead, everything you do had to count. Work, studying for exams, brewing potions, writing essays for Professor McGonagall, creating new charms. And if it's not visible, like sitting still and reflecting on your life, it doesn't seem to matter anymore and looks like a waste of time. Even work used to have limits, 8 hours a day approximately. But now everyone has opportunity to stay connected all the time. Posting reels, YouTube, monetization, solving cases, new clients, networking 24/7. And sure, it's amazing thing that we have so many opportunities and technically you don't have to participate. But even walls at Hogwarts starts to whisper, "You're lost." By the way, if Instagram gives you a fear of missing out, check out my video about FOMO. Here is the time turner link. For society, doing nothing is not just unproductive, but I also noticed that it looks weird. Imagine sitting in the Great Hall, everyone is chatting, scrolling, gossiping about Quidditch scores, and you just finished your meal and sitting quietly and thinking about your day. I'm pretty sure someone would lean over and ask, "Are you tired? Everything okay at home? Is your scar burning again?" And I know they were being polite, but all you did was nothing. And somehow that's alarming these days. But here's the thing. No matter how many magical abilities you have, you're still a human being, and sometimes the most powerful thing a being can do is just be. And I get it, sitting still like a gargoyle is hard, like standing perfectly still after riding a broomstick for hours, your body still wiggles. But what if you could stay productive just without the phone? You can do something slow, something unstimulated. You can do the dishes without music. You can walk through the castle corridors without a podcast in your ears. You can eat breakfast without Netflix or scrolling through your muggle phone. You can brew your potion just thinking about what you enjoyed today. The world will still keep spinning, no worries. You can simply drink your coffee or your morning pumpkin juice, watching the light change in the window. My cat does this every morning. He just sits, stares out the window, and breathes. I tease him and I call it his slow morning routine, but turns out he's way smarter than I am. The Nordic countries call this slow living. They actually celebrate it, from long coffee breaks to sitting by the fire in silence. Maybe that's why their well-being is so high. They remember that rest is a ritual, not a luxury. After running this little experiment for months, I tried to apply doing nothing in 3 places of my real life. During the house chores, before bed, and on my walks. First, during house chores. I cook twice a day, I clean, I do dishes, so I made a deal with myself. One of those times I do it with my favorite audiobook, and the other time I do it with nothing. No phone, no movie playing in the background, no extra noise, just me, pen, and scrub daily. Second area where I applied it was before bed. I started another challenge on the side. It's not the topic of the video, but it's still related. 2 hours of rest before bedtime. Not doing nothing, but just doing my hobbies. Reading, games, beauty routines, baking, just soft, cozy activities. But here's the twist. Some nights I didn't want to do anything at all, so I let myself just lay there doing absolutely nothing. And just because I already understand the value of it, of doing nothing, it was much more easy for me not to punish myself while just lay still. And third part, walking. This was actually the hardest part. In theory, walking sounded like perfect time to do nothing. But in reality, when it was raining or windy, I needed a motivator. And that's where advice from Atomic Habits came in. If you want to build a habit you don't love, glue it to something you do love. So I glued walking to podcasts. I know, a bit ironic. I spent a whole month learning walking without podcasts, and here we go. Now I'm walking with one. But hear me out. The problem wasn't walking. The problem was putting on my shoes and leaving the house when weather was miserable. I started with podcast, heard something interesting and paused it, and spent the rest of the walk thinking deeply about that idea. No phone, just thoughts. I figured that's the perfect combination. I need a podcast to get me out of the house, and then I decide what I want to do. After that experiment, when I started working on my stickers, ideas just effortlessly came. And my mind started to feel much fresher. My brain felt younger, not that slow. I felt like I did some decluttering. It's like spaces appeared between the words of my life. I don't know how else to explain it, but it felt much fresher and I loved that feeling so much. And another thing, that slowing down made my life feel longer. Like I was actually experiencing more in 24 hours. I was doing dishes and feeling, oh, it's Friday, oh, it's evening, oh, beautiful sky, something like that, oh, my cat. I enjoyed it, and I think that life is not short. It just appears short because we are always in a hurry. That's the paradox. Class dismissed, dear students. Now go and do nothing. No homework today. See ya.
I'll be alright, my friend, if you stay by my side. Sometimes our worries get the best of us. Sometimes the hardest we try is not enough. All will be well as long as you stay by my side. You help me take this weight off my shoulders. Always run my way when I call you. You're the anchor I'm holding tight on to. You are my home away from home.